The very latest stories from here and around the world in half an hour. That's after we get the news from where you are.
Hello and welcome to Granada Reports.
Hello there. On the programme this evening, the problem with autism. Two families talk of the trouble they're having getting their children into schools that understand their needs.
Next, and the Education Secretary Michael Gove has waded into a row between Lancashire County Council and the families of two children with autism. Both Honey Crossley and Jack Entwistle from Burnley have been taken out of school, the council says it's found appropriate alternatives, but their parents say they're wholly unsuitable and do not cater for autistic children.
Now, their MP has raised the issue in Parliament, where Michael Gove admitted he too has had frustrations with Lancashire County Council. Our correspondent Rachel Townsend has this report.
Two families united in their fight for what they call a fair education. They both have autistic children with very different needs, but both Jack and Honey are now out of school altogether.
We've no choice. We want to desperately get her into school.
She's not refusing to go to school. She wants to go. She wants to go to a school. She wants to go to the right school, and she wants to learn.
Soon after her diagnosis last year, Honey's primary school told her parents they couldn't cope. After a long search, they found a school they believed would cater for her perfectly. But it's independent and Lancashire County Council will not pay the fees. Instead, they've recommended a non-fee paying special school.
The school that they've named on a statement is for severely disabled children, but they're trying to pigeonhole these kids, and they're massively misplacing these kids. They're not giving them what they need.
Can you read that for me? What does it say?
Name it in a pocket.
Name things in a pocket.
In a similar situation is 9-year-old Jack. He's partially blind and severely autistic. His family received an email asking him to leave school. Since then, Jack has been educated at home. They were then offered a list of alternatives by the County Council, including one they thought was perfect.
We had a meeting with the head and deputy head of that school. They had a place available for him. It's an autism specialist independent school, and they take children there from early age, junior years, right through to the age of 19. So one of the key things with autism is they don't like change. So you need to try and minimise the transition as much as possible.
But once they agreed to this school, the funding was refused. Jack's parents took the council to a tribunal, but lost. While they won't discuss individual cases, Lancashire County Council told us when parents of a child with special educational needs express a preference for a certain school, we can find ourselves at odds with that preference. A parent can then take the case to a tribunal. Once that has been heard, the decision is out of our hands.
Mr Gordon Birtwistle.
This week, Burnley MP Gordon Birtwistle raised the issue in Parliament with the Education Secretary, Michael Gove.
My constituent, Jack Entwistle, is being denied education that is suitable for his needs by Lancashire County Council, and unfortunately he's not on his own.
I absolutely will ensure that a minister meets my honourable friend. Both of us have had our frustrations with Lancashire County Council.
These two children, in fact there's more than just the two, there's some more besides, are being forced into education that basically totally inappropriate.
They've never shown us that they know anything about autism. In the tribunal setting, we asked if we could bring Jack, we were refused. So the problem you've got is that autism is a massive spectrum. None of this is even understood by any of these people. They just hide behind process.
Honey has now been out of school for almost a year, Jack for 6 weeks. The families say until Lancashire County Council come up with appropriate schooling, they have been left with no choice. Rachel Townsend, ITV News, Burnley.
Well, joining us now is Emma Shepherd from the National Autistic Society. Thanks for coming in, Emma. Where is the best place for a child with autism to be educated? Mainstream, special schooling, where?
It really depends on the child. The thing about autism is it's a spectrum condition, which means that although two children may have the same formal diagnosis, they may actually have very different support needs. So what needs to be, so some children may cope really, really well in mainstream, but maybe need a little bit of support from a TA because they're very academically capable, but they maybe need a little support with the social elements. Another child may need a lot more intervention and support, and a special school placement may be more appropriate because they maybe need a different curriculum, they maybe need a lot more one-to-one support that might not be provided within a mainstream school. What's important is that there's flexibility and there's options that can be suited to that child.
Isn't part of the problem, though, as you said, that, for example, the children that maybe are more challenging and require more one-to-one care, that costs money and that costs time, and schools, with the best will in the world, they've got an awful lot of other pupils to deal with and cope with and educate and look after as well.
It does cost money and time, but a lot of those children, young people, can cope really, really well in a mainstream school with the right support, and they'll really thrive and contribute to their school environment and go on to be really successful.
But if the school hasn't got that budget, if they're saying, look, we would like to look after the kids, we would love to do it, we just don't have the facilities, we just don't have the money, we just don't have the time.
There is funding in place that can be worked out with local commissioners between schools based on the children within their setting, and a lot of schools do this really, really well and support these children to achieve really good things.
We heard in Rachel's report there that Michael Gove knows about Lancashire County Council. Do you know about Lancashire County Council?
I haven't personally worked within Lancashire particularly. We do have a new National Autistic Society branch opening up in September in Lancaster and Morecambe, and once that branch opens up, I personally will be working much more in Lancashire, but these problems that these two families are experiencing aren't specific to Lancashire. Our recent research showed that 68% of parents did not find it easy to get the right education support for their child, and almost a third weren't happy with the education placement that their child was in.
So is that the fault then of the councils, or is it that the councils need more work, they need more guidance, do they need more money? What is it?
It really depends. It's on a place-to-place basis. Some areas have really good provision. They maybe have an autism-specific unit attached to a mainstream school and an autism special school that work really well. Other areas are maybe lagging behind a bit, but it really is an area-to-area issue depending on what the situation is.
Emma Shepherd, thanks very much for coming in this evening to talk to us.
Thank you.